So the Los Angeles Metro, bus, train, whatever it might be, it is declaring a public safety emergency in the wake of a bunch of stabbings and violence that is just off the charts. LA, get on the bus, Gus? Not right now. Let's get into it. Here we go. Today, we're launching the largest giveaway this channel has ever offered. All thanks to the sponsor of this video, Vanish Holsters. Many of you know I often find myself in some pretty hairy situations, whether it's covering events in places like the Chop Zone in Seattle amidst mostly peaceful protests, or navigating through precarious homeless encampments. I've had my concealed weapons permit for several years, but my biggest hurdle to overcome has been I don't want to carry one more piece of awkward gear while I'm trying to film in a dangerous situation. But that all changed when I discovered the Vanish Daily Carry Holster. This isn't just any holster. It's my personal protection solution and today's video sponsor. The thing I like about it is that it's super comfortable, yet still discreet. It only weighs like 6 ounces, but it's made of super durable Cordura material that won't chafe against your skin. Put it on and forget about it until you need it. It works for 99% of all semi-auto pistols in the market, and it can be set up in multiple positions for both right-hand and left-handers. It's got a non-penetrable trigger guard and 2 utility or magazine pouches. Throw it on under a loose t-shirt and nobody knows it's there but you. And with a 100% money-back guarantee, there's zero risk if you don't think it's a great daily carry solution. So all you have to do is click in the link in the description below and get yourself the most comfortable holster you've ever worn. And Vanish Holsters is hooking you up. They're going to knock off $50 off the retail price for anyone who buys using my special link below. And here's that huge giveaway I was talking about. And Vanish Holsters is giving away this $80,000 custom Rocky Ridge Silverado truck for free to one lucky American who buys one of these amazing holsters through June 3rd. Don't miss out. Buy a holster today. Los Angeles County Supervisor Katherine Barger said that she didn't feel safe riding the Metro by herself. Following the death of a woman on the Metro B Red Line and a series of violent attacks on bus drivers, the transit agency's board of directors declared a public safety emergency Thursday while agreeing to procure safety barriers for bus drivers and taking other steps to enhance safety on the system. Can't you just imagine what that looks like? These bus drivers, they're going to get all padded up. They're going to have a helmet. They're going to have all kinds of stuff outside of their cage. They're going to have spikes. I mean, it's literally going to look like Road Warrior, right? It's going to look like Road Warrior. Hey, you want to come work for LA Metro? Here's your work environment right there. Like, what? No, I just wanted to drive the bus. I just wanted to drive that bus. Metro's board of directors unanimously adopted a recommendation to acquire barriers for hundreds of buses in response to a sudden, unexpected increased severity of assault on operators. Assaults on bus operators increased from 92 attacks in 2019 to 160 in 2023. And they continue to escalate this year. I mean, that's not safe. Hey, you want to ride the bus? Have you read the paper lately? Don't think so. So this past weekend, we had here in Bellevue, they've been building this light rail thing for like 17 years. And it goes from SeaTac Airport up into Seattle, but they've been connecting and building the east side portion of that. And so this past weekend, they opened up. We've been waiting for this for years and years and years, decades. And I remember seeing the proposal and thinking, 2024, good Lord, I'll be half dead by then. Not wrong. And it just opened this past weekend. So I wrote it from, it stops in Microsoft, which is just I don't know, probably a mile and a half from here, my office. So I wrote it from Microsoft Technology Center. It's the Redmond Technology Center down to South Bellevue, which is down by I-90 and 405. And eventually they're going to connect it over to Seattle, meaning the homeless will be able to ride for free the light rail all the way into Redmond. That'll be great. That'll be special. But man, they had it loaded up with security. I mean, it was loaded to the gilt. There were no shenanigans. I'm not sure if that's it's the east side. It's the King County deal. If it's the east side, or if they just want to make sure that there's absolutely nothing going sideways. To date, there are no real homeless folks riding the light rail because they'd have to come over here from Seattle anyway, and they're riding the bus. So they're just going to ride the bus all the way. Plus, this thing just opened up, and it's, just a million security and people walking around. I got a free $6.50 Orca pass. That's the free. It's named after a whale because, Seattle, and we're Pacific Northwest. And yeah, a whole bunch of art and stuff like that. But if you're in LA, yeah, different story, right? Different story. Metro riders deserve to be safe on the system, and we will continue to do all that, said Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass, who chairs the board of directors, said during Thursday's meeting. We can keep not only our riders, but also our operators safe. And I know that as a board, we will step up to this challenge because that's frankly what the people of Los Angeles deserve. Now, those people that are riding the bus that don't really want to be, what's going to happen to them? Where's their cage on the bus to protect them from that fentanyl smoking homeless person who's probably got a bunch of felonies and is on the bus specifically to smoke fentanyl? Because in a contained environment, there's less wind, right? Not as windy as, say, the sidewalk or even in your tent. Or if you light up, tent might just go. And so you've got that whole thing. Plus, once you light up and smoke your fentanyl, then you ride the bus around. You ride the metro around. You just, this is great. Don't even have to nod off. You just literally crash on your seat and away you go. People will give you space. We know this because that's what folks are doing in Seattle. They're riding the bus around after they get high, after they smoke on the bus, and bus drivers are saying, this is making me really sick, and they're suing the city. But don't worry. Public health authorities in Seattle are saying that there are no known effects from secondhand fentanyl smoke, that when somebody lights up that fentanyl, it mostly goes inside their lungs, and anything they breathe out, it's okay. There's, small toxicity. It's not that. You ever smelled secondhand fentanyl? Yeah. It's not good. What about the fentanyl that doesn't make it into their little pipe and they, inhale it? What about that fentanyl that just goes in the air? That's firsthand fentanyl. I don't know. You're asking a lot of questions, Sean. We can't go down that road. Yeah, we can't talk about that. Barger said that her motion calls for the agency to secure station gate entrances and exits, analyze data on violent crimes, including those by reoffenders occurring on the system, and speed up pilot solutions at some of the most challenging stations. The motion was co-authored by Supervisors Janice Yada 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 Don't Care. Among other measures the board of directors called for were quickly increasing security cameras so that as you're being stabbed, they'll be able to identify the assailant, and that person will have yet another court case. And they've already got 45 lined up, and this is their 61st time being arrested. So, don't worry about that. We're going to catch them on security cameras, though. Implementing facial recognition technology so we can really identify that criminal who's wielding a sword, indeterminately poking people. And using other technology, the agency may also look into ways of banning problematic individuals from Metro altogether. If somebody bashes somebody else on the Metro, shouldn't they have just a lifetime ban? Just boom, you're done, can't get on. But then who's going to enforce it, right? Who's going to enforce it? The Metro I rode, the train I rode, there was nobody even checking tickets. There were people on the train that there were security. All right, but that's not going to be that way forever. So eventually you get on, you're like, good Lord, who are these people? I just wanted to go to downtown Seattle. So article continues to go on to say, we've received reports highlighting improvements since last year on crime stats and over other key areas, Barger said. But the reality is that we're fighting a battle with one hand tied behind our back. In reality, you've got basically both hands tied behind your back, because what's the solution? What are you going to do with all these whacked out, mentally unstable and ill people that are on drugs? Where are you going to put them? Are you really going to put them all in treatment? Are you really going to put them all in an insane asylum? Because if you're not, or a mental institution, I don't think we say insane asylum anymore. We can't say that after One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, right? And that was what, 1972? Something like that, right? The 70s. Missed the 70s. At one point, Barger said that she didn't feel safe riding Metro by herself. Well, that's because you might get accosted. Somebody might do something just really bad to you, or just kill you with their big sword. How often do we talk about swords on this podcast? A lot. Because why? Crazy people are running around with swords, pretending that they're in some kind of play, and then they stab other human beings while they're just running down the sidewalk. While there was overall agreement to explore as many options as possible to improve metro safety, there was disagreement as to how best to get there, because you don't have a lot of solutions to this problem. You don't have enough treatment, and you certainly don't have enough mental health care treatment. So there you go. What are you going to do with all these folks? You're going to incarcerate them? You're going to put a bunch of crazy people into the jail system? I'm sure that'll be just fine, right? These people don't need jail. They need, they're not able to even stand trial for whatever crimes they are, because they're just whacked out of their mind. And then the drugs just coming, through the sieve of the southern border and just hops these people up, and they're gone. Supervisor Lindsay Horvath was critical of Metro's policing contracts, the Los Angeles Police Department, Long Beach Police Department, and LA County Sheriff's Department. She suggested that the agencies have not been forthcoming about how they've improved their approach to deploying their officers across the transit system. Even if you have a whole bunch of cops, is it going to make it that much better? When you've created a system like this, when you've allowed a system like this is what you get. You get a bunch of crazy people riding the bus because it makes sense. Nobody's really guarding the hen house, right? Just like, yeah, go ride the bus. I'd rather not, but I got to get to work. So therefore today I'm going to do it. I mean, in New York City, the governor, Hochul, she put the National Guard down in the subway system, right? Because things have gotten so bad. Same drill. You got a whole bunch of people whacked out on drugs that are just mentally, they're literally on a different planet. But said that he was a proponent of implementing more security technology across the system. That and physically removing these people from that system, yeah, that'll get you somewhere. But you've got 44,000 homeless folks in Los Angeles. Yeah. So what are you going to do about that? Another tough one. Let's not talk about that. Let's move on. Let's talk about, we're going to analyze, we're going to rethink, we're going to reimagine, because we're going to try and get to the root causes of all this. And we'll just see where it goes. It's talk versus action. Because what's the action? You literally just start arresting these people willy-nilly, left and right. I mean, I'm all for that, because that does solve the issue temporarily, which is takes these folks off the street and gets them to a place that they need to be. But unfortunately, for society, that means jail, because you don't have enough resources to put all these people with mental health care issues. And as society, we've just let them go. That guy's been in a mental institution for how many years, and we're just going to let him go? Should be fine. I mean, what could possibly go wrong? Now you got a bunch of stabby action on the train, on the buses in LA. Literally, you got a public safety emergency. Too many people getting stabbed on the bus. Get on the bus, Gus. Supervisor Holly Mitchell said that the agency needs to keep the broader context in mind. Keep the broader context in mind. That immediate context of that person being stabbed in the neck, not so much. Yep. Broader context in mind while discussing public safety, and not commit to knee-jerk reactions. Well, when people are getting murdered on the bus, I think folks are allowed to have a knee-jerk reaction like, good Lord, what's going on in LA? The same thing that's going on in Seattle and Portland, New York City, San Fran, same thing, because you got the same exact situation. Bunch of nut jobs running around hopped up on drugs. That does tend to create a knee-jerk reaction when somebody gets stabbed on said metro. Anyway, the board of directors is expected to hear more about potential public safety measures within 60 days. And by that time, you'll have another 4 or 5 murders and 6 or 7 just basic assaults, and some robberies, probably some armed robbery, a lot of graffiti, a lot of defacement of the buses. And we're going to put all those bus drivers into those captain console road warrior containment things so that they don't get murdered. Yeah, and you want to go to work in that. I mean, it's literally going to be like, you see in these post-apocalyptic movies, guys driving and there's spears coming at them. They've got anti-artillery, guards on the side of their cars. It's going to be something like that. The bus is going to be going down. It's going to have one of those things on the front, the cattle thing where it pushes the cattle off. It's going to be for people. Los Angeles Metro officials are meeting Thursday after 3 people were violently attacked in the past week aboard public buses and trains. Nothing says come to LA like a public declaration of emergency for their metro system. Despite men spending millions of dollars on efforts to secure public transportation and numbers showing a decrease in violent crime on the transit system, well, tell those stats to the person who just had their family member killed. Tell those stats to them and see what they think. Are they okay? Oh, okay. Well, I guess my relative's violent murder on the bus, it wasn't in vain. The dilemma of how to stop the trend of gruesome attacks on passengers and metro operators have prompted officials to declare an emergency. Incidents have occurred with no prompting or warning and have created an environment of increased risk and trauma as assailants are resorting to the use of deadly weapons such as guns and knives. Don't forget swords. Any kind of weapon you can think of is going to end up in these folks' hands because they're homeless and they all have weapons. This notion of, they're just nice people looking to get back up and get back into society. No, they know how to defend themselves. And then sometimes they just take it out on the bus driver, take it out on somebody in the bus, and somebody loses their life. Because that's what happens when you've got whacked out nut jobs on drugs with swords getting on the bus, Gus. Given this crisis situation, it's imperative that Metro retrofit all buses with fully enclosed barriers. There we go. There's the solution. All right. Let's try and minimize the blood flow on our bus drivers here. So fully enclosed barriers, make it like Road Warrior, but don't make it that bad. Maybe don't have the spiky things coming out from the top, and somebody's up there with the turret gun. I've watched a lot of post-apocalyptic movies. Maybe I shouldn't talk about that. Oh, yes, I should, because this is reality. You're literally living in Escape from New York / Road Warrior times when people are just being assaulted this often on the bus. Used to be rare, didn't it? Used to be rare. Like the bus was one of those places where people respected the fact that, okay, we wanted to have as million cars on the road all at the same time because, it's problematic. So let's have people ride the bus into downtown. Let's make it, easy for them to get into downtown. And now, hey, you want to ride the bus? Yeah. You packing heat? Because if you're not, yeah. On Wednesday, Los Angeles County District Attorney George Gascon announced 𝗪𝗡𝗠𝗠𝗡𝗠, 45, the man who allegedly stabbed 67-year-old 𝗪𝗧𝗔𝗬𝗓 to death inside a train, is being charged with murder. What? No way. Actually getting charged with murder. That is novel. Because George Gascon, he'll let anybody go for anything. And he's, a justice reform guy, right? Just going to let him go. But murder. Somebody innocent, just riding the bus, getting whacked by a nut job. If convicted as charged, he faces life without the possibility of parole. He's being held on no bail. Oh, no bail. Interesting. I think that's racist, though, right? Gascon said during a news conference, "We want to express our deepest condolences to Mrs. Aru's family. Their family member was murdered unnecessarily. Here's our condolences." Yeah, that and a wrongful death suit. 10 million, 5 million. What is it? Don't really know. This is truly a tragedy. This should have never have occurred. Agreed. But how are you going to stop it? How are you going to stop it? Well, you're going to do the one thing you can do, which is try and keep the bus drivers alive. Because without those bus drivers, those buses and those trains, they ain't going anywhere, right? The grandmother from Nicaragua was taking a metro train home from her job as an overnight security guard when she was stabbed in the throat in an unprovoked attack as the train was headed to the Universal City Station. That's horrible. Gnowden has been arrested multiple times in the past year for assaulting people at the same station. This is not a shocking story, is it? No, this is what'd you think would happen? You got shenanigans going on. And shenanigans include, in this story, murder. Straight out, cold-blooded murder for no real reason. Just, let's take somebody out. Monday's slang comes about a week after a Metro bus passenger and operator were stabbed in unrelated incidents on the same day. Yeah, the natives are getting restless, aren't they? Warm weather's coming. They're getting all worked up. Just in their mind, gotta go stab somebody, and then they do. The first attack on April 13th occurred around 1:45 a.m. in Los Angeles' Silver Lake neighborhood. Video of the scene obtained by KTLA showed paramedics carefully lifting a blood-soaked passenger who was suffering multiple stab wounds off the bus and onto a gurney. The man was rushed to the hospital in critical condition. This doesn't say come ride a bus in LA in La La Land, does it? Police were able to track down and arrest a suspect who fled from authorities. Later that night, a bus operator was punched and stabbed on a Metro bus in another unprovoked attack in Willowbrook. This is not gang activity. This is straight up Looney Tunes stabbing people on the Metro. Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department announced the arrest of 30-year-old suspect Darnell Marshawn Bray in connection with the attack Wednesday night. Bray was being held on $2 million bail, according to the Sheriff's Department. All right, $200,000, guy walks free. That ain't happening, right? So that attack prompted the emergency declaration and pushed for the barriers around operators to be installed as quickly as possible. Man, I mean, you're going to have to give hazard pay. All of these incidents and the situation that you're seeing with the bus and train and whatever other metro systems you've got going on across the United States. You've got the same deals. You got a bunch of people that should be in mental institutions that aren't. And you've got a massive flow of drugs that are now so cheap that anybody can get them. And these people that are suffering from hearing voices in their head and everything else, are just absolutely out of their mind. They take the drugs because they're super cheap to try and, get them out of their reality. And that's why so many of them take fentanyl, because it puts them on a different plane for at least a couple of hours. And then they rinse, repeat. And then you just got a bunch of just whacked out people running around. And some of them kill innocent passengers. That's literally what you've got going on. So talking with my friend that he works for Amazon, and we were talking about what are you going to do? And, how did this happen? And what are you going to do? How did it happen? We've covered that. What are you going to do moving forward? Man, other than, put the bus drivers in their own little lockdown covered up, shell of a, safety, whatever it is. What are you going to do? How are you going to get people to feel comfortable riding the bus? Did you read the paper last week? No. Should I? No. If you want to ride the bus, don't read any media because you don't want to know. Because what choice do you have? You're on a bus, some nut job gets on. You're going to have a shootout at the 𝗥𝗘𝗃𝗠𝗏? Maybe. And that's these stories, that doesn't happen because these folks aren't carrying guns. And so you've got a situation where innocent people's lives are just being taken. I mean, what was it? It was blood-soaked, suffering multiple stab wounds off the bus, and a blood-soaked passenger who was suffering multiple stab wounds off the bus and onto a gurney. That doesn't say ride the bus, does it? No, that says do not ride the bus. It's dangerous as F because you might get murdered. And you wouldn't be wrong. That is the brutal, harsh reality. And that's what's facing Metro, and that's what's facing, bus drivers, and they got the whole fentanyl smoke and they got everything else going on. Nobody wants to talk about that because you don't have a real good solution for it. There's no real good solution for it. I hear it from you guys all the time. Just create an island offshore and ship them all there and just be like Escape from New York. Try getting that enacted. Try doing that. I mean, I want to see safe solutions for people too, but I don't know how they're going to do that because you can't micromanage. You can't put a police officer on every single bus. You just physically can't. Don't have enough cops to keep the streets safe. So it's all about this, coming from behind after it's already happened. And we got the body off. It had multiple stab wounds and now it's onto a gurney and they're bleeding out. Whoops. Yep. They died. Murder. That's what you've got going on. That's the harsh reality. Man, I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen, but these bus drivers, well, they're going to get a little extra protection and all right, see where it goes from there. That's it for me on this one. Thanks so much for being here. I'd love to have you subscribe if you haven't already. Hit hit that notification bell. We're dropping 2 videos Monday through Friday, one on Saturday, one on Sunday. Doing live streams Tuesdays and Thursdays, 11 o'clock Seattle time. Check out one of those. And then Monday through Friday, I'm typically at the 9 a.m. premiere, and I'm online doing the live chat. So check it out. I'll catch up with you in the next one. Bye for now.